Is the Pokemon GO player base too toxic? Will they never appreciate the things that Niantic is doing for Pokemon GO? No, I don't think so. And I want to talk about why in this video. Hey, how's it going everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So today is going to be one of those chill videos. It's going to be a little bit more laid back. I'm not going to be going over any strategies or any news. I just kind of want to take one topic in Pokemon GO and talk about it. And that's precisely what I'm going to be doing. Today we're going to be talking about the Pokemon GO community. I think for the past several years, we have seen the Pokemon GO community go up and down. There has certainly been a reputation that Pokemon GO players are some of the most toxic, they're some of the most negative, and maybe for the right reasons. Maybe some of that negativity has always been justified because Niantic has consistently dropped the ball when it comes to Pokemon GO over the years. They have made a lot of design decisions that were very unfavorable. They've kind of prioritized different elements of Pokemon GO that players just simply do not care about. And in general, there has just been a very tumultuous relationship between Pokemon GO players as well as the developers. And a lot of that has changed in recent time. I think over the past couple of years, there has been a lot of positive movement when it comes to Pokemon GO's development. And I think a big part of that may be because of the new owners of Pokemon GO and Niantic. Like, ever since Scopely Inc. took over Pokemon GO, there really has been a lot of positive changes. And it does feel like they're prioritizing gameplay as opposed to, I don't know, AR technology. That has always been kind of like the biggest gripe among Pokemon GO players. That Niantic is constantly doing so much in order to push AR technology further that it was to the detriment of the game itself, and they were ignoring a lot of the long-standing issues with Pokemon GO that players have been constantly complaining about over the years. And because of that, yeah, if you ever go on social media, if you ever go to even Pokemon GO's review page on the App Store, you just see a flurry of negative comments, and it's just always players voicing a lot of their frustrations and their gripes with Pokemon GO. But it does feel like a lot of that sentiment has changed. It does feel like players are generally a lot more excited about Pokemon GO, whether that be because longtime players are finally seeing the changes that they've always wanted, or it's because there has been a good stream of new players and they're joining in at the best time with Pokemon GO. So I really do not know what the case may be, but I kind of want to squash this reputation that Pokemon GO players are always just very negative and they're just always going to complain. I mean, even for myself as a YouTuber, a lot of my content in the earlier days were voicing a lot of community frustrations, pointing out some of the flaws with Pokemon GO, talking about all of the things that Niantic needs to do for the game. And if you look at my content recently, it's definitely a lot more positive. I'm giving a lot more praise than I am giving criticisms. Sure, every now and then I will point out some weaknesses or certain things about different in-game events that are generally not that great. I totally will do that, but in general, I just feel very positive about Pokemon GO. I've been enjoying the game every single day, and I think the community also feels the same way. Pretty much every single Pokemon GO player that I talk to out in the wild, they're enjoying Pokemon GO. They're loving the game. They're always talking very positively about the game experience, and I think that just goes to show that the vocal minority on subreddits and I don't know, like on Twitter especially, or Instagram, or any social media platform, I don't think they truly represent the majority of Pokemon GO players. So I really do think this is important that we all kind of point out. Yes, it's totally okay for you to have gripes with the game. I think it's totally fine if you feel like the game could always be better. That's a good thing to feel. Like, there's always a sense of like, if you have constructive criticisms, you should give them. You should let Niantic know, like, hey, this part of the game is something that needs to be fixed. This is some aspect of the game that could be a lot better. Whatever the case may be, it's always healthy to continuously have that dialogue. But at the same time, I think it's not okay if you're just complaining for the sake of complaining. Maybe there's one niche area of the game that you only specifically enjoy, and Niantic hasn't done a lot with it. And for you to go and just just be extremely toxic and to be extremely negative just because Niantic is kind of neglecting one aspect of the game, that is not okay. I really do not think that's okay. I think probably the most toxic aspect of Pokemon GO's player base, the group of players that are still extremely toxic, and this is just based on my own observations, it's going to be spoofers. I feel like spoofers are always going to be complaining about Pokemon GO because, for one, Niantic is obviously never going to support spoofing, and of course, spoofers generally play the game in a way that was not the intended design. For them to go out and do a whole bunch of raids from their home without having to use remote raid passes or, I don't know, like whatever the case may be, they're essentially taking out a huge chunk of the gameplay, right? And because of that, they feel like the gameplay is boring, or they just simply feel like the gameplay is lacking in many respects. But it's kind of on their own doing because they're taking a big chunk of the gameplay out of the gameplay. So I feel like that is something that I've always observed, that it just seems like spoofers are always the ones complaining the most, or in many ways, they're the ones that are just generally toxic and negative. I don't know. But this is not to knock on spoofers. Hey, if you want to spoof, that's totally your prerogative. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you. I know in the past, I tend to be a little bit more biased against spoofing, but nowadays I just simply do not care because spoofers do not affect me personally. Sometimes they do, sure, but in general, I just feel like if you're going to choose to spoof and risk your account getting banned, that's totally up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to play. I'm not going to tell you which way is the better way to play. Well, I kind of technically did that, but still, but like, I just feel like if you're going to choose to spoof, that's totally on you. That's the way I look at it. But regardless, it's just my observation. Totally saying this, just purely objectively, I feel like spoofers are always complaining more than legitimate players. That's just something that I've observed. But yeah, I feel like this is really all just to say that Pokemon Go honestly is in a good place. Is Niantic perfect? No. Is Scopely perfect? Absolutely not. But they're definitely doing a lot of good for Pokemon Go. And there's very little reasons to complain about the game, especially recently. And I think because of that, I think the Pokemon GO player base is a lot more positive and it's a lot less toxic than it used to be. And it's something that I do want to point out because I still see it. I still see players talking about Pokemon GO players being very similar to like League of Legends players where they're always just complaining or they're just, I don't know, they're just being very, ridiculous on social media. Maybe they're harassing people who are praising Niantic. I don't know. I mean, you still see that, of course, but I don't feel like it's to the degree that it used to be. I really feel like Pokemon Go players are feeling really good about Pokemon Go. And I think the game is definitely something that is actually enjoyable. It's actually something that deserves a lot of that praise. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, this is basically just me kind of sharing some thoughts. I was perusing through social media and I did see a couple of negative comments and it just got me thinking, like, it doesn't really seem like this is as common as it used to be. It doesn't feel like anytime Niantic posts something that you see just a flurry of just negative comments and just people being very toxic, people, specifically harassing developers of Pokemon Go, whatever the case may be. You really don't see it as much anymore. Maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just totally perceiving it wrong, but it really does feel like Pokemon Go players are generally enjoying the game a lot more. Like I said, people that I meet at raid hours or Pokemon Go Fest, people do come up and say hi to me. Occasionally, we do have conversations about Pokemon Go and how they currently feel about the game, and it always feels very positive. It always feels like people are excited, whether it be for the event or whether it be because of something Niantic recently did. Whatever the case may be, it just feels like the sentiment is really good, and I think Niantic needs to keep it going. Whatever momentum they have currently built, they need to keep that momentum going, especially leading up to this year's Pokemon Go Fest, because it is the 10th anniversary, and this needs to be one of the biggest things that they've ever done. And I think they will pull it off, because, yeah, with all the rumors of Mega Mewtwo and with the Kanto region stuff, it does seem really exciting, so I'm looking forward to it. Now, another thing that I do want to mention is that toxicity obviously takes many different forms, so it's not just about how negative they are on social media, but it could be your experiences with players within a raid battle or, let's say, during events, and I think that's totally valid. I mean, my experiences have always been really positive, but I think I have the benefit of being a YouTuber. I've never been bullied or I've never been excluded from a group, and I've certainly seen that over the years in various communities, but I think that is very much an uncommon experience, and unfortunately, there are players out there who might be experiencing that, but it's not common enough where you could say the entire Pokemon GO player base is a group of people who are going to be exclusive and elitist and different things like that. Although that does certainly exist, I just don't think it's something that really defines the entire player base. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else to talk about. I know this is going to be something that many players may disagree with. Maybe players feel like Niantic is not doing a good job. Maybe they're going to say, you know, the Pokemon GO player base is still very toxic. I don't know. This is just something that I've been experiencing, something that I've been observing, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, definitely share your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about in the comments down below. Do you feel like the Pokemon GO player base is extremely toxic? Do you feel like, yeah, there has been a lot of positive changes and the community is also feeling positive? Do you feel positive about Pokemon GO? Share all those thoughts in the comments, and yeah, let's have a great discussion. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this little discussion video, and you want to support my channel, make sure you hit that like button for this video, and also subscribe if it's your first time here. And make sure you turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And of course, check out the links in the description below. One of them is to my Patreon page. If you want to play Pokemon GO with me, the way you could do that is by becoming a Patreon member, because I add every single one of my patrons to my Pokemon GO friends list, and I prioritize them for remote raid invites and the friendship system, all that good stuff. So yeah, if that's something that interests you, make sure you go and check it out. Again, I'll put a link to it in the description below. Also in the description is a link to my Etsy store, which is kind of like my side hustle. I'm making merch for anime and K-pop, so if those are things that interest you, make sure you go and check it out. Maybe you'll find something that you'll like. All right, I'm done blabbling. This is yeah, just a lot of shower thoughts and ranting and raving. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm Jinsula. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next one.